Today's video is just going to be more of a introduction, who we are, what to expect from the channel, and I guess a crash test for a lot of our equipment. So, congratulations, welcome to being our official crash test dummies. So, I gotta say anything?
Oh,
It's gonna be fun.
yeah. Hi. Welcome.
Yeah.
Here we are. Two goofballs in the woods.
Yeah, so there's supposed to be two guys on a log, but the sun didn't cooperate, so now we moved to two guys under the canopy of trees. So that's not what the channel is going to be called, but that's what we're going to have for now. And we got a video bomber.
I have a feeling he'll be in and out.
Yeah.
So you want to go first? You want me to?
I could go first. So obviously this is probably, if you've watched a couple of my other videos, you've seen me on the channel because it's my channel. So I run my own company. It's LFOD Tactical, which stands for Live Free or Die Tactical. And my aim is to just be a resource for responsible citizens who want to, have good equipment, make sure their stuff's set up, and offer them training, offer them armor services, FFL services, SOT services. I offer a wide variety of things as far as laser engraving goes. I have that, so if you need NFA engraving done or anything like that, I can help facilitate that. I am located in Wisconsin, so for people out of state, may not be your best option. Support your local businesses from where you live, unless you are that inclined to support me. But my guess is there's somebody by you who's based.
Yeah. How'd you get your start in firearms?
So firearms have pretty much been a part of my life since I was 18 years old. I didn't really grow up with firearms or anything like that, but at 17 years old I signed up for the United States Marine Corps because I had visions of canoeing foreheads overseas. I would like to think that a lot of people that are my age or a little younger, a little older, were probably influenced by it. But 9/11 was kind of my call to action, if you will. At that time, I was obviously not old enough to enroll in the services, but it stuck with me for the next few years, and as soon as I could sign up, I did. So I joined the Marine Corps, where I did a myriad of things, and near the end of my career, being in the Marine Corps Reserve, I had the opportunity to be an armor at the end there while I was working for a local sheriff's department. I worked for that sheriff's department for a good number of years. Different roles, supervision, obviously patrol work, stuff like that. And then I eventually left the sheriff's department and went to a local municipality, a local city PD. Same thing, armor there. I was on some special teams. I was responsible for the whole department's rifles and various other things, just training people, canine decoy program, this whole myriad, and now found myself, due to politics, outside of law enforcement and actually back in the military, but this time I did the smart way, and I am in the Air Force in a pretty cool position now, so yeah. I'm not a big guy on toting my resume, but I figured since people are coming here to learn about the channel, I guess I had to disclose it a little bit, because I want people to look at the content, look at what we're saying, think about it, analyze it, and be like, does this actually work? Versus being like, oh yeah, that guy that was in the Marines and on a SWAT team and this and that says that I should set my rifle up like this, or I should, run this, or this is how he runs it or sets up his rifle. Like, it can be a starting point, but what's going to work for me isn't going to work for you and stuff like that. So, and that's why, I mean, we have different rifles here that different setups. But I want people to be able to just get ideas. You know, somebody just coming in, I don't want you to hyper fixate and be like, oh yeah, he runs EOTech, so I got to run an EOTech. You should run
They
an
are
EOTech.
the way though.
That's
You should run an
yeah.
EOTech.
If you don't,
You're probably running an aim point, which is also a correct answer.
yeah, also true. But yeah, if you don't like EOTech, go ahead and hit that thumbs down button twice.
Yeah, twice.
That way they really know that you don't like them. So yeah,
Yeah, like Clark said, it's definitely, the whole resume thing. There's validity to resumes on people, and it's also not an end all be all, because what Joe Schmo Ranger or Johnny Fishgill's SEAL is running and doing has no weight or bearing on what you as an armed citizen are probably going to be doing. We just had a conversation about like the Unity tactical mounts and the 226 height and versus 193 lower third, absolute co-witness and stuff. Like those high mounts are cool and they look awesome, but if you have no need for it, there's no need for it. And again, that goes off of what your need is. There's no end all be all.
but
Well, getting back on topic, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So a lot of people. A lot of people have asked me in the past, because it's LFOD Tactical. We already talked about what that stands for. And a lot of people ask me why the wolf as my logo. Um, some people think it's a fox. It's not a fox. It's a wolf. Some people think that it's my dog, Bullet, but it's not. So the reason behind the wolf is, for me, it's a concept. So when you think of a wolf by itself, pretty formidable force, right?
One man wolf pack.
A wolf will mess you up. Like a wolf
Mm-hmm.
will, a wolf can operate on its own. It can do what it needs to do on its own. It can everything that it needs to do. It's a very aggressive animal by itself, if it needs to be. However, wolves operate better in packs. And the same goes for us as citizens. So what my thing is to train people up, have them be formidable on their own, have them be a force to be reckoned with by themselves, but then also be able to integrate with other like-minded individuals and create that pack, if you will. Because I don't care what doomsday scenario you have drafted up in your head, but if you think you're just gonna
Do it
end of the
alone.
world, throw all your stuff on, and just go conquer the world by yourself, you're sadly mistaken. It's not
Or
happening.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, it's just not happening. You need people. You need a support system. You know, everywhere you look, every successful military, law enforcement element of any sort has multiple members, a support system. You know, so that was the whole premise of the logo and the name. The name also has an extra meaning because "Live Free or Die" is the New Hampshire state motto, and that is where I am originally from. So, in out east used to be very pro-America, but now there's places like Connecticut, which if you live in Connecticut, move.
We'll
But I'm from
take you in Wisconsin.
yeah, maybe I have an application you can fill out. So, but yeah, so I'm from New Hampshire, and so it's a little throwback to my roots. And then I think the statement "Live Free or Die" speaks a lot to what our country was founded on and what we should be forming our mentality around. And you know,
Yep.
I mean, what's living if you're not free? Like you're alive, but at what cost?
Exactly.
And we live in a country where more and more people are becoming happy with the fact that they just simply exist versus going out there and standing up for what's right and
Instead,
morality and
instead of living in their phones.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's a problem.
It is.
Living in your phones is a problem. I found myself living in my phone too much, and I got rid of my Facebook, and I got rid of this, and I got rid of all forms of social media. But then I also, um, unfortunately, in this day and age, it's almost impossible to run a business without having any form of social media presence. Even if you have a business, the first thing people do is
Google, yeah.
look for your Facebook page, look for your YouTube page, Instagram. I don't know what else. Twitter that Elon Musk took over,
Yeah.
fired 80% of the employees or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
Reddit. I don't know.
Yelp.
Bumblebees or whatever it is.
Grinder.
Whatever you. I don't know. Some of you young kids comment down below.
Yeah.
What dating apps you use?
Yeah. Let us know what we're supposed to be on.
No, no.
Oh, not.
We have spouses. Happily,
And it's not each other.
happily married to not each other.
We are married.
To to females.
Happily.
To females.
Women.
Like actual ones.
Real ones.
Not like modern day females. Just so we're clear. Men that think that they're females
Yeah.
we're canceled. We just got canceled.
I hope so.
We just got canceled.
I hope so.
We're canceled.
This is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that said, why don't you talk about yourself, because I'm sure they're gonna see you around a little bit.
I hope so. Not much. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So my name's Briar. I too, just like Clark was talking about, was heavily influenced by the events of 9/11. Also, not of age immediately following, but I remember being in school. They wheeled the TV in on the cart, and we watched the towers fall, and all of that. And the moment I heard the speech from George Bush, which I can't remember exactly when it was, but when he was down on ground zero, and he said, somebody in the crowd had mentioned, "We can't hear you," and he said, "Well, I can hear you. I can hear you, and the rest of the world hears you, and soon the people that knock these buildings down will hear all of us." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be part of that, all of us."
based.
So yeah, based, yeah. I came from a military background family. Every man in my family served, primarily Army. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, primarily Army. Had a little bit of everybody, a little bit all over. And originally, I wanted to sign up for the Marine Corps, but at the time, I was only able to be a heavy diesel truck mechanic. And I was like, well, that's not the reason I joined. So I switched over. Extremely soft. I went next door to the Navy recruiter and talked to him, and I wanted to be a corpsman.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
because
fair.
I wanted to go patch up dipsticks in the field and look at their feet and tell them to drink more water.
You wanted to do the silver bullet. If you don't know what the silver bullet is, Google it.
Yeah,
Not on your work computer.
or on your work computer. Yeah. So didn't end up being a corpsman though. I started off my career in aviation. I worked on hydraulics and pneumatics for the launch and recovery equipment on aircraft carriers, and I had an opportunity to become part of my command's security team, and I jumped on it because I knew when I got out I wanted to work in law enforcement. So it was like awesome training, right? So I went down there, spent the rest of my time down there, went through a couple schoolhouses, picked up a lot of decent quals. I was part of our SRF A team. Yeah, it was a good time. fast forward, got out of the military, and then worked kind of in between stuff, and then went and worked for the Department of Corrections. Started off working there. I was like, oh, while I'm waiting for my schooling to be done, and so I can complete the academy to be a regular Leo, I was like, I'll just go work for the DOC. Found out that's a lot of overtime. That is a lot of overtime. Forever understaffed, they shall be. So I worked there for a while, a couple years, which I became part of their emergency response unit. So a lot like Clark. Most of my firearms training and stuff came from the law enforcement type of aspect or background. Even while I was in the military, most of the stuff we did was more LE based versus like a force on force type of thing. So yeah, I worked for the DOC for a few years, and just was taking a toll kind of on the family life, and just wasn't for me. So I got out. I've got nothing but respect for COs, but it just wasn't for me anymore. Got out, and now I work in management. Yeah, and going back to what we kind of said before, what me and him did in the military as far as firearms setup and use, philosophy of use and stuff, is completely different from what we did in a law enforcement type of setting, and is 100% different from what we use as a armed citizen type of deal. So just like you, just like us, everything should be forever evolving. If you're not learning new stuff or doing new things, trying new things, and finding a better way for yourself, I mean, what's going on? What's going on there?
That's another thing. Like, so, like, when I was in the Marines, like, I had an opportunity to be part of, like, QRF, Quick Response Forces, and stuff like that. And, I got out, and people are like, oh, man, I want to get a concealed carry gun. You should really show me how to, shoot a handgun, and this, that, and the other thing. And it was kind of interesting because, at least in my experience in the Marines, and a lot of the prior Marines I talked to, like, we didn't do a lot of handgun. Like, it was a lot of rifle, M16, ACOG, 20-inch barrel, stuff.
No
Like,
suppressor though.
oh, Knight's NT4s here and there. But this was the day-to-day. And then, once you got a high enough rank, then it was the M4. And it was just rifle, 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 rifle. And when I qualified with handgun, they were like, oh yeah, here's the Beretta, M9, pointing at the target and qualifying. Like, they didn't really, like, put us through a lot of handgun. Like, I qualified with the handgun. I was able to get, sharpshooter in the Marines. I never got expert on the handgun. Navy standards are like here, so yeah.
That's all we did though was handgun. We did a lot of handgun.
There wasn't, like, we shot it a lot, but the thing is, like, nobody was, like, coaching you strongly as to, like, how to really run the handgun. I get out, join the sheriff's department, and, great instructor there to this day, still somebody that I look up to as a firearms instructor. I won't name him publicly on a video, but he was like, hey, why don't you try this with your grip, which is now, the modern day, what everybody does, the modern day thumbs forward grip. Like, I wasn't doing that. And he showed me a couple things, and he helped me get better. And then I went to the law enforcement academy on the sheriff's department's dime. And another great instructor at Fox Valley Technical College out there at Appleton, who I believe is now since retired, but same thing. I mean, he put us through the ringer on handgun, and I owe a lot to him because he made me the handgun shooter that I am today. Like, he could have just been like, yeah, here's the basic stay qual and do what you need to do, but he really pushed us. And so the point I was getting to was that, like, that whole thing that I talked about earlier about the resumes, like, Don't ride somebody's resume because they're in the military and think that they're going to be the best person to teach you how to shoot a handgun. Because when I got out of the military, I wasn't the best person to teach somebody how to shoot a handgun. I could shoot one and I could use it safely and
Hmm.
effectively, but I could have been better.
Right.
And then, my capacity in the Marines, rifle was rifle centric.
Yep.
Sidearm was sidearm, secondary. You know, everything was rifle, 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 rifle. And
Yeah.
then I switched to handgun, or I switched to law enforcement, and
It's
it
the
was
other
like
way around.
handgun, 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 because
It's-
we don't carry it out of lethality or that the best thing. You carry it out of convenience. Like
Yep.
if every law enforcement officer could have a 10.5 inch, 11.5 inch, 14.5 rifle strapped to their back every second and every day on every call, they would. But you can't. It's just not practical.
Right.
So it was nice to get that balance, because the one thing the Marines can do is they can shoot, and they teach you how to shoot really well. So I got a nice strong emphasis on that, and then, luckily Wisconsin's a very good state as far as having a high standard for law enforcement qualification. So it was nice to be pushed to that limit. There's some other states that high school
Yeah.
diploma, and here, little Johnny, here's
Gotta-
some keys and a gun, and
There's that.
go patrol the streets of Bama.
There's that prior.
Nothing against Alabama,
Something
except
against
for the
Alabama.
sibling related stuff.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.
No. But H.R. Funk, former Marine, right? Or prior Marine. I don't know how you guys. There's no ex-Marine.
Somebody who was in the Navy, you think he'd know, but whatever.
He does throughout the states. He shoots all their law enforcement quals and stuff like that.
Yeah, he actually rated Wisconsin as one of the top.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was the top 3 or the top.
Yeah,
it was definitely one of the ones where he's like, yeah, that's because there's stoppage clearing, there's
More dynamic.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
It's
just
not just punch and paper.
there's actually a lot to it. And
Yeah.
when I started, they had just implemented that new program. So for those of you who know when that went live and can do math and look back, you can gauge how long I was in law enforcement for. Maybe even guess my age if you're real froggy. Everything's on the internet though.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
You think you deleted it, but you didn't.
Right. It's only deleted when Hillary Clinton said. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well,
Here we go. Here we go. Well,
it was nice knowing you.
we're dead.
I didn't. Hillary, I didn't. Just so we're clear, I did not say that.
I did. I said it. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah, I think it's like I said before. I don't wanna ride my resume too hard, but I do think that I can come to you with a good prior experience, whether it's military, law enforcement, and then military again. Like I feel like I have a good rounded thing where I can kind of speak to what people can do and shouldn't do, and how they maybe should or shouldn't set up their stuff. I've tried a lot of different setups. I've had things that the media, or not the media, the social media says is
gun
the new
tubers.
hotness, and I try it and I'm like, man, so I've wasted a lot of money on stuff that I shouldn't have, or I sat back and waited and been like, I don't really know if that's good, and then all of a sudden, everybody kind of comes back around like, yeah, that wasn't that good after all. LPVOs. There's just some things that people tote and push and peddle and for sponsors or whatever the case may be, and then it turns out to not be that good. So we wanted to be able to try to get some content out there to make it where people hopefully save a little bit of money, can look at stuff, and move forward in the right direction. And we're not saying that our direction is the right direction. I am very much one to say, like, look, here's a way, but not the way. And if I was you, I would be very cautious of instructors or people who tell you this is the way. If they say words like never or always, like, just be cautious. I'm not saying that they're wrong per se, or necessarily. Just be cautious. You know, if somebody tells you, you always run in a EOTech,
BCM gunfighter
they're
stock.
they're right, but no, I'm just
ACOG 2.
yeah.
ACOG 2.
The thing is just be cautious of that. Everything everything isn't absolute in the firearms world, and the same goes for lots of other things. You know, whether it can be any career, it can be anything like that. If there's somebody who's toting it always, just be mindful of it. So, because just right here alone, we have different rifles set up in different ways.
Different lengths and configurations for
Yeah,
different purposes.
yeah. So
There's no end all be all to firearms. There's guns that can do things really well, and then there's things that can do everything okay-ish,
yeah,
but no end all be all.
yeah.
The only one absolute I would have to say in the armed citizen, prepared citizen, firearms type of deal is
Run a
you're
Glock
gonna.
19.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and there it is. There's the end of the video.
The absolutes are if you're not working with your stuff, you're gonna suck.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's
Like Lucas says, if you suck, I suck. Or you, right? That's how it goes. You suck, I suck.
He says if you suck, you suck. I don't know.
If you suck, you suck.
Yeah,
You'll suck.
yeah. Or as Grand Thumb says, if you're not fit, you're gonna die.
I'm gonna die.
No.
Especially with my Hillary comment.
Yeah, that's actually true.
I'm okay. I don't have any mental health issues, and I do not intend to harm myself in any sort of way. In case you heard that.
Disclaimer. Whoever's editing this video, disclaimer. Bottom of the page. However you do that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how.
We don't know how.
So if you're a video editor and you're looking to not get paid, hit us up.
For free.
Yeah, for free.
But I'm sure we'd let you shoot some stuff.
Yeah, like full auto Colt LE 6944
Yeah. Or 14.5 this gun.
pin and welded. Just be clear here.
Pinned and welded. Per the ATF.
Yeah, this is not pin and welded 14.5
This is special.
because I have an SOT. So ATF, leave my dog alone.
You heard that.
Yeah, Bullet heard that. So what do we got?
What do we got? I think we're good.
Is that?
I think that's that.
Is that the end? Do we have a sign off yet?
Like Reed Hendricks.
Reed Hendricks, lessons that we learned are written on tombstones of others.
That's what he says.
What did the late great James Yeager used to say?
Uh,
Your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends. Yep. If you, oh my, he doesn't even know who James.
I do
Yeager
know
is.
who James Yeager is. R.I.P. brother.
You know, you try to bring somebody on the channel, and then
Look, I'm kind of autistic, and the only thing I can speak in is certain bands' lyrics and movie quotes. So the whole time he was talking about the Wolfpack mentality, I was just straight Hangover in my head. The whole scene playing in my head, and now his Wolfpack has grown by one.
yeah, yeah. So, with that said, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the sign off should be. The only thing
Oh, we have to have one.
we can end on is live free or die.
Die for free. Live.